Today guys, we are the group 2. So we assigned to tackle the life of people in South America. So in South America, there are four main components that na have contributed to the present day condition of their country. So first is the or American Indians or the Amer Indians who were the pre-Columbian inhabitants. So, una. So, next is the Iberians, which is Spanish and the Portuguese, who conquer and dominate the continent until the beginning of the 19th century. Next is the Africans. So, Africans imported as slaves by the colonizer. And last, or finally, post-independence, immigrants from overseas, mostly Italy and Germany, but also Lebanon, South Asia, and Japan.
Before the beginning of the epoch of European exploration and conquest in the early 16th century, South America was almost completely occupied by diverse people. Nearly all of those cultural groups practiced agriculture, and most exhibited an extraordinary understanding of their physical environment that had been developed over 1,000 of years. In the present day, there are two South American countries where indigenous people constitute the largest ethnic group. These are Peru, where 45 degrees are indigenous, and Bolivia, where 62 people indigenous.
Hi, I am the cadet Matthew Cliff Mokoy. So, before the Spanish colonization of the Americans, many indigenous people of South America were hunters and gatherers, and indeed, many still are, especially in the area of Amazonian area. Others, especially the Indian cultures, so when you say Indian cultures, it is a collective term used to refer indigenous peoples of the Andes Mountains. Although areas such as deserts, mountain peaks, and tropical rainforests appear to be uninhabited, those places were occupied at least occasionally. The societies with the greatest complexity of social organization and densest population tended to be located along the Pacific Ocean coast, in the adjacent Andes Mountains and along the major rivers of the Amazon River Basin. So, that's all.
In Spanish, indigenous people are often referred to as indigenas or pueblos indigenas. They may also be called pueblos nativos or nativos. It is believed that the first human population of South America either arrived from Asia into North America via the Bering Land Bridge and migrated southwards, or alternatively from Polynesia across the Pacific. The earliest generally accepted archaeological evidence for human habitation in South America dates to 14,000 years ago. The Monteverde site in southern Chile, the descendants of these first inhabitants would become the indigenous population of South America. Less complex societies were located away from the rivers and mountains, and nomadic hunting tribes were sparse in the Pampas, Patagonia, and southern Chile. Agriculture-based village culture and social organization came first to the tropical lowlands of the Amazon basin and valleys of coastal Ecuador and Colombia. That's all.
Good day, I am Decadet Patalinghog. So, the indigenous people of South America or South American indigenous peoples are the pre-Columbian people of South America and their descendants. These peoples contrast with South Americans of European ancestry and those of American descent. So that culture include religious temple mound complexes, fine ceramic based partly on earlier technology for making fire-engraved containers out of battle gourds, and farming such as crops as cassava, manioc, and corn, maize on periodical flooded plains and levees.
Hey everyone, I am the next reporter. I'm the Cadet Alasan. So, The resultant population explosion has been caused by a traditionally high fertility rate and a modern low mortality rate. And the rapid population expansion has had important demographic and social effects. So, those areas eventually became organized into complex chiefdoms containing dense population, supported in some cases by raised field, road planting surfaces, separated by ditches that enhance the fertility of the soil while limiting the possibility of fungal disease and waterlogging.
Good day, I'm the Cadet Socials Earl MacBrien. So, the linguistic diversity and multiplicity of South America probably is unmatched anywhere else in the world. Thousands of languages and dialects have been catalogued, including all those that have developed since the European conquest. Classification systems vary a great deal, from more than 100 linguistic families and many unrelated languages at one extreme to extremely simplified schemes at the other. So there are also considerable disagreement on the composition of those stocks and how many languages should be classified. Most are now extinct, either because the people who spoke them have disappeared already, or because acculturation into a European language, or in some instances, into another indigenous tongue. That's all.